Welcome back to Cheddar's Opening Bell, everyone. Our next segment is part of Cheddar's ongoing celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs from now through October 15th. And today, we're talking about Election Day. As the largest minority in the U.S., the Latino and Hispanic communities, they carry a huge impact at the polls. Joining us now is Nathalie Rayes, who is the president and CEO of Latino Victory Project. Great to have you here with us today. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me here, Brad. But don't ask me about football. I saw the earlier segment because I have nothing to say about football except go Patriots, just for my children. Go Patriots.
Oh, my goodness. You couldn't have picked a worse team. It's okay. I'm an Eagles fan, Patriots, whatever. We'll let it slide for now. Let's talk
Hey,
polls.
vote like a madre, so I have to stick to what my kids want.
Okay, fair enough. I get the justification. We got to talk about the Victory Project. Just launched a new initiative called Vote Like a Madre. What are you asking people to do through this initiative?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Brad, we're 32 million voters, 18% of the voting bloc. That's a large percentage. And so we're asking mothers to do across this great country, Latina mothers, is to make a pinky promise to their children to ensure that they will vote this election cycle, that they will make a plan to vote and vote for climate change to ensure that we have a better future for our children, clean air and clean water. And so, as you know, the Latinas in the households are the CEOs of every household. In my household here, no one can cross me. I am la madre that we create the rules and regulations in our home. And so for us, ensuring that Latinas vote is not only Latinas, but it means the larger community voting and ensuring that they're coming out on November 3rd, 39 days away.
Okay, and so you mentioned climate change. What are some of the other most important issues that you expect voters to take with them to the polls?
Well, climate change is one of the top issues that Latinos are talking about. Obviously, the economy is critically important, affordable. Healthcare is critically important as it relates to COVID, especially now. Obviously, immigration is important for Latino families. Education, a good education for our children, obviously critically important. Good paying jobs, affordable housing, affordable healthcare. So all these things that we know are the major pillars of what we care about as a community, and they will be taking that to the polls come November 3rd.
Okay, and so this week was voter registration week. What is the Latino Victory Project doing to help get people to the polls come November?
Well, we're talking about our options, right? And so for us, it's very important that everybody has a plan to go vote, and that we vote as a community, that we are ensuring that our families, our households, our neighbors are going out to vote. So we want everybody to have a plan to vote. We're talking about the three options of voting, right? We can vote early, we can vote by mail, or we can go vote on November 3rd. And ensuring that you wait in that line and you're sure to make sure that you cast that vote on November 3rd. So for us, regardless of how you're gonna vote, it's very important that you have a plan to vote, that you're taking at least 5 to 10 people with you to the voting booth, and that you educate yourself on the three options of voting. Again, that's vote by mail, that's voting early, or voting in person on November 3rd.
Absolutely. Extremely important. Running through some of the options there. I do want to kind of dive into this as we've continued our own coverage looking into some of the key states that are going to be swing states or battlegrounds for both of the campaigns that are out there. Well, all three campaigns, we should say. The Latino and Hispanic vote is crucially critical, and especially in certain states like Florida and Arizona. As we think about Florida and Arizona, recent polling shows that those states are at a near tie right now. So what do you think it would take to tip the scales?
So I'm here to talk about Vote Like a Madre, and so the fund is different than the project. So I'm happy to come back and talk about the race and where it stands. But Vote Like a Madre, we focus on climate change, and we are focused on the states of Arizona and in the state of Texas and Florida, which are critical. Obviously, Latinos will be the margin of victory in those three states. And so Vote Like a Madre is focused in ensuring that every mother and every Latino comes out to vote in this election cycle.
Absolutely. And we do know that 22% of Gen Z voters are Hispanic. That's more than any of the older generations as well. How important?
Oh, yeah. And every 30 seconds, Brad, a young Latino turns voting age. Every 30 seconds. I mean,
wow.
that's an important stat to have in mind. And so Gen Zs are the future of the Latino community.
And so when you think about what's getting that generation motivated right now, what are some of the things that you do to really kind of integrate the messages, making sure that they're resounding with that part of the generation?
So I think that's an excellent question. And climate is meeting that community. I mean, that Gen Zs have actually brought climate to the forefront. And so we're so excited to actually be following their lead. The young people are really transforming this country, and climate and fresh water and clean air is at the forefront of their agenda. So so that's how we're engaging with them in things that matter to the young population, to the young constituencies that will make a difference in this upcoming election.
Nathalie Rayes, who is the president and CEO of Latino Victory Project. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nathalie. We appreciate it.